I have 100 reference images for this current series, 100. And today I want to talk about what this series is actually about, why I'm making it, what it's already given me, and what I hope it gives you. Let me start with something I believe, even when it sounds a little unfashionable to say it out loud. Beauty matters. Not beauty as decoration, not beauty as something you put on a wall to fill empty space. Beauty as a form of meaning, as something that fills you up when you're in its presence, even when you can't explain why. Think about why you travel, why you go out of your way to see certain cities, certain museums, buildings, landscapes. Nobody sits on a plane for hours just to see something mediocre. You go because you want to be in the presence of something that moves you. That's beauty doing its job. And I think our modern world, in its race toward novelty and shock and whatever is loudest this week, has actually forgotten that, or pushed it aside, or decided it wasn't serious enough to bother with. I disagree completely, because beauty is also in a small flower on the side of the road, in the light passing through the leaves of a tree, in watching a litter of kittens play, in someone's smile. These are not small things. These are actually the texture of life. And most of us are moving too fast to notice them while they're happening. This series of paintings is my attempt to slow that down, to capture those domestic, tender moments, a woman holding a cat, a morning coffee, a small quiet smile, and say, this deserves your full attention. This is worth painting, this is worth your wall. Before I go further, if you want to follow this series as it develops, new paintings, new ideas, what's actually happening in the studio, I have a studio letter where I share all of that before it goes anywhere else. Early access, no algorithm involved, link is in the description. Now back to the paintings. The search for beauty is something I obsess over. I went through thousands of photos on my phone for this series. Thousands. I was looking for specific things: tenderness, kindness, small smiles, those moments that look ordinary from the outside but feel huge when you're actually inside them. I ended up with 100 reference images I loved, which created a different problem entirely. How do I stop researching and actually start painting when you have 100 ideas you want to make? One of my greatest difficulties is stopping the idea testing phase and just committing to paint. I can sit in that loop for weeks, adjusting compositions, trying new references, finding one more image that changes everything. It's productive in one sense and completely paralyzing in another. This time I stopped, deliberately, and I'm glad I did. This series moved through different moments. Alina drinking her morning coffee, Alina holding Zizu, some invented moments with cats that don't exist as real animals but feel completely real in the paintings, and then back to her holding Tina. Right now I have a very large painting in process with Alina and Zizu, and that one carries a lot of weight for reasons I'll get to in a moment. On the subject of cats, and I say this without any irony, there might be a biological component to why we respond so strongly to their presence. Cats are quite literally the perfect candidate for what our brain perceives as cuteness. The proportions, the eyes, the way they move, we are in awe of them every single day, even when we've seen them do the exact thing 1,000 times before. I find that fascinating, and I find it completely true in my own life. I did have some doubts about this series early on. I criticized myself for choosing such an accessible, warm subject. I thought, is this too easy, too obvious, too soft? And then I had to quiet that voice down, because the voice was wrong. I understood how much Zizu's life meant to me. 14 years of him mewing loud every single morning for food, being inconvenient in the best possible way, being present in every room I was in. That's not a soft subject, that's a life, that's a relationship. So I stopped overthinking and decided I wanted to enjoy this series. It's full of color, it's full of characters, it's full of tender moments, and we need those. We actually need them a lot. We need to surround ourselves with kindness and with the search for beauty. It's my way of saying stop, smell the flowers. Not because it's a cliche, but because it's true and most of us forget it most of the time. I want to talk about something more personal now because I think it's relevant to why this series means what it means to me right now. Zizu died recently, and his loss made me rethink the way I see this whole project. I am extremely grateful for every moment I had with him, and now I get to look at those small moments we shared, the morning meowing, how incredibly affectionate he was to me, always glued to me, and I see how large and important they actually were. They didn't feel large while they were happening. They felt ordinary. That's the whole point. We don't give much attention to the small moments of a day. We focus on the big activities, work, vacations, birthdays, the things worth marking on a calendar. But our lives are actually made of all the small moments. And if you do the math, those weigh so much more across a lifetime than the big ones do. You may come home one day and your cat won't be there. Or you may wake up one day and eat breakfast alone, and you realize that tiny moment of enjoying a morning coffee with someone you love, or your cat demanding your attention at the exact wrong time, was actually a very large portion of what your life was made of. I know I have a lot of work to do on being present in those moments myself. I'm not pretending I always manage it, but I know how much I miss some of them now. And that changes how I want to approach the time I have with everything and everyone still here. Having photos and videos of Zizu is something I'm grateful for, but learning to be actually present while those moments are happening, not just documenting them, not just moving through them, that's one of my real goals now. And this series is part of how I'm working toward it. So this is what the series is. Tender domestic moments, color, texture, geometric backgrounds that contrast with the softness of the figures, some rigid geometry, some more fluid and organic, bits of landscape, a lot of texture, Alina holding cats, and cats being cats. I'll most likely turn this into a very long series. I want to keep going until I feel finished with it. And I had no idea when that will be. Maybe I'll paint Alina laughing while playing with Tina. Maybe I'll even paint myself in it eventually. Maybe. Just maybe. I'm excited to see what it becomes. It's already given me a lot, even though I've had recently some hard weeks. Those weeks are part of life, and I'm trying to accept that and stay grateful for what I had and for everything I still have now. I'll get back to my paintings. I hope you enjoyed this one. I really hope you find beauty in the small moments of your own life, because they are there every single day, whether you notice them or not. If you want to follow this series as it develops, the studio letter is where I share everything first. New paintings, new ideas, what's actually going on in the studio before it goes anywhere else. Link is in the description below. And if this resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Thanks for watching.